Hey you guys, it's Jet888 here. It is September 15th. I'm just going to share something real quick, and again I'll leave links for you. So I'm looking at United States Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations, Committee on Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs by Rob Portman. He's the chairman, and Tom Carper, ranking member. They talk about threats to U.S. research enterprise, China's talent recruitment plan, staff report, United States Senate. Here's just part of the table of contents: from brain drain to brain gain, strategic plan. Here it talks about its National Institutes of Health and NIH grant process. Weaknesses in NIH's internal controls for monitoring and permitting foreign access to sensitive data. Talks about Federal Bureau of Investigation and the Office of Science and Technology Policy. He states here, American taxpayers contribute over $150 billion each year to scientific research in the United States. Even if it's going to be used against us, huh, you guys? So he talks about how China takes American scientists and researchers and kind of recruits them for their plan, and they call it the 1,000 Talents Plan. That's how I found this document. It's called the 1,000 Talents Plan. Contracting with the Chinese government, 1,000 Talent Plan members sign legally binding contracts with Chinese institutions like universities and research institutions. The contracts can incentivize members to lie on grant applications to U.S. grant-making agencies, set up shadow labs in China working on research identical to their U.S. research, and in some cases transfer U.S. scientists' hard-earned intellectual capital. Some of the contracts also contain non-disclosure provisions and require the Chinese government's permission to terminate the agreement, giving the Chinese government significant leverage over talent recruitment plan members. These provisions are in stark contrast to the U.S. research community's basic norms, values, and principles. Annexed to this report are Chinese talent recruitment plan contracts that illustrate exactly what talent recruitment plan members agree to when they become members, and it shows case examples. It states, second sentence, for example, talent recruitment plan members removed 30,000 electronic files before leaving for China, submitted false information when applying for grant funds, filed a patent based on U.S. government-funded research, and hired over other Chinese talent recruitment plan members to work on U.S. national security topics. One Chinese talent recruitment plan member stole proprietary defense information related to U.S. military jet engines, and others have contractually agreed to give Chinese institutions intellectual property rights that overlapped with research conducted at U.S. institutions. Annexed to this report are case examples provided by several federal agencies. He lists all these. He mentions National Institutes of Health, $31 billion annually. Let's just read a little bit of this. It says National Institutes of Health, NIH, invests over $31 billion annually in medical research through 50,000 competitive grants to more than 300,000 researchers. NIH has recently found instances of talent recruitment plan members committing grant fraud and transferring intellectual capital and property. It also found possible malign foreign influence in its peer review process. NIH has attempted to address these issues, but significant gaps in NIH's grant integrity process remain. Much like the NSF, NIH relies on institutions to solicit and review disclosures of financial conflicts by its employees participating in NIH-funded research. Unlike the NSF, the NIH has Division of grants, compliance, and oversights that conduct site visits at institutions to advance compliance and provide oversight. I wonder if they ever saw the oversight with Fauci. The number of oversight visits to institutions has fallen from 28 in 2012 to only 3 last year. So the oversights, anyhow, let's see, NIH officials remain concerned that China's talent recruitment plans are more pervasive than that they have uncovered to date. So you got the Department of Energy, the State Department, Department of Commerce, FBI, all kinds of people. Findings of fact and recommendations. China seeks to become a science and technology S&T world leader by 2050. China prioritizes military-civilian fusion as a national goal. China aggressively recruits overseas researchers and scientists. Thousand Talents Plan, TTP, is China's most prominent talent recruitment plan. It's like TP. TTP employment contracts violate U.S. research values. Chinese talent plans target unrestricted basic research. TTP members will willfully fail to disclose their TTP membership. I wonder if Fauci's a TTP member. This says in some cases TTP members received both U.S. grants and Chinese grants for similar research, established shadow labs in China to conduct parallel research, and stole intellectual capital and property. U.S. government agencies also discovered that some TTP members use their access to research information to provide their Chinese employer with important information in early stage research. Federal agencies are not prepared to prevent China from transferring taxpayer-funded research and stealing intellectual property. That would be us. We're funding that. And it continues, but again, you have the link. On page 17 talks about China's systematic targeting of critical technologies, and they call it MOST, according to China's Ministry of Science and Technology, referred to as MOST, formulates and facilitates the implementation of strategies and policies for innovation-driven development and plans and policies for S&T development and attraction of foreign talent. So they talk about here core electronic devices, large-scale integrated circuit manufacturing, you see all this, genetically modified organisms, major new drug development, major infectious disease prevention and cure. Of course, they've got to have the solution there. Hegelian dialectic. Talks about large-scale airplanes, high-resolution Earth observation technology, that would probably be satellites or whatever spying on us, and manned spaceflight. So where do that 1,000 talent plan experts go? Since 2008, more than 6,000 overseas experts have been recruited by the 1,000 talent plan, among which more than 70 are Nobel Prize laureates for academicians from the United States and Europe. Where are they employed? You'll find them in the universities, enterprises or people starting their own businesses, other financial institutions, and scientific research institutes. On page 97, they talk about the FBI and lack of coordinated national outreach program. The Office of Science and Technology Policy, the White House Office of Science Technology Policy, OSTP, stop. It could be stop. If you look at the second and third letter, ST, and then the first letter, and then the P, so stop. Okay, so I'm just showing you this. Rob Portman, a senator, writes this. That's him at the John Glenn School of Public Affairs. I'll leave the link here of his, this is in the Open Secrets .org. You just put his name in there and you get all kinds of information. He actually has, he's worth $10 million now. Just a couple years ago, he was worth $17 million. Okay, here's something that Open Secrets has also, and it talks about Portman's first stint in the federal government came in 1989 when he was hired as an associate White House counsel under President George H.W. Bush, after working as an attorney at Peyton Boggs LLP in Graydon, Head and Ritchie. He then headed the White House's Office of Legislative Affairs. So I'm just wondering, how does someone become like $17 million? What did he do for all that? Let's see. It says here, Portman proved to be a fundraising dynamo with his winning run for U.S. Senate in 2010, bringing in a total of $16.5 million, according to Center of Responsive Politics data. So here I found a little article, Bill Gates thrilled by legislative boost for nuclear. So this is March 29th, 2019, nuclear energy. Here, I just want to scroll down here. Okay, this is talking about a Nuclear Energy Innovation and Modernization Act, which modernizes U.S. nuclear regulation and supports the establishment of licensing framework for next generation advanced reactors. It became law on January 14th. That's 2019, I believe. So Bill Gates chimes in and says he knows how important this is. To prevent the worst effects of climate change, we need to reach near zero emissions on all the things that drive it: agricultural, electricity, manufacturing, transportation, and buildings, by investing in innovation across all sectors by deploying low-cost renewables. Nuclear energy is one of these critical technologies. It's ideal for dealing with climate change because it is the only carbon-free, scalable energy source that's available 24 hours a day. He states, I'm thrilled that senators from both sides of the aisle have come together to support advanced nuclear. This is exactly the kind of leadership our country needs to both solve the climate challenge and reassert our leadership in this important industry. And in that, this bill was drafted and introduced, and Rob Portman right there was one of them, along with Chris Coon. Here's all these other, Lindsey Graham, all these other senators. So it includes authorization of long-term power purchase agreements. Where down here, something I saw something like, they always say, and oh, here it is, advanced nuclear reactor concept and for other purposes. The other purposes leaves things wide open. I'll leave this link too. So anyhow, I just wanted to see if there's a connection with Gates and this guy. And then I wanted to see what his relationship with this is, and watch his okay, she's asking him, let me get my headphones on just a sec. So this title says, GOP Senator Robert Portman reveals he's in Johnson & Johnson's coronavirus vaccine trial. And sorry, I don't have speakers, so I'm just gonna have to, oh wait, maybe I can. Okay, she's gonna ask him about his involvement with the J&J vaccine trial, and I want to have watch his throat, watch him swallow. She's gonna ask him. She just wants to talk about what's happening with COVID, where things stand. It's been rough, and now he just swallowed. She's talking about Ohio having its struggles. So anyhow, he's full on into it, and he's into the trial, and he's wearing his good little mask. You can watch that. Watch him swallow. When she asks what's happened with COVID, that's when he swallows. Yeah, he's a little nervous, and he's really dry mouth sounding too. Okay, so he's been bought. So he's working. He wants people to join the trials. It's a great idea to join trials, he says. Wow. So he wants to recruit people to get the shot. And he's swallowing and he's super dry mouth. I'll leave the link to this too. So he's saying this is the most important thing, the single most important thing, he says, in his view. So he's definitely on board to get people to sign up for this jabby wabby. So he said Congress should fund another bill, and it says to ensure the necessary funding to ensure that that word progresses, progress continues. So he's on board with everyone to get that toxic shot. You guys have got to listen to this because he is so dry mouthed. He's swallowing. He's very nervous. It's really interesting. So he just stated that this is the best expenditure of taxpayers' money that he can think of, he said. Great. So I'm just showing this because it just seems like they're trying to make another little boogeyman for everyone. The whole anti-China thing, when I think that we should look in our own country for the scary little enemy. And it doesn't say it anywhere here, but it does say it up in the media doc. So November 2019, wasn't that just 1 month before you know what broke out? 1 month. So November 2019, and it was December 2019 that the whole Wuhan thingy broke out, and he just happened to write this the month before. So I'm just looking at some people in our government